Hello everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the best Reddit answers being read to you. Enjoy! If humans all mysteriously disappeared one day, what systems or infrastructure would keep running the longest by themselves? We're just calling you to let you know that your car warranty has expired. It'll be just bots calling other bots. Calling others till you die. You never realize what was your last phone call, last post, last time you hold your loved one. Dams. Hydroelectric systems have been estimated to keep functioning the longest after we're gone, assuming we suddenly disappeared. If I remember the theory correctly, it would eventually be an accumulation of mollusks growing in the intake lines that killed the plants. There was a TV show about this premise, All Humans Die Out/Disappear, several years ago, and they predicted that the Hoover Dam in Nevada would continue to provide power to the surrounding area, Las Vegas, etc., for a few years until, of all things, mussels clog it up and stop the water flow. Fascinating stuff. Life After People on History Channel. That's it. Thank you, couldn't recall the name for the life of me. Ancient megaliths, temples, and other large structures that are standing today are likely going to continue standing for tens of thousands of years at the very least. Stonehenge, the pyramids, Roman aqueducts and roads, Greek temples, all of those will last for quite a while before a combination of erosion and natural disaster does them in. Modern mega projects made of stone or concrete like the Hoover Dam could last even longer. Things like Mount Rushmore and the Crazy Horse Monument will last for millions of years. The longest-lived objects created by humanity will most likely be the pioneer plaques that were sent into interstellar sauce. Untouched by any earthly elements and shielded from space dust and micrometeors by the spacecraft housing them, they'll probably last for billions of years before they become unreadable, and billions more before they cease to exist altogether, unless they're hit by a big space rock or fall into a star or something. As for things that aren't infrastructure, the longest-lived invention of humanity will probably be dogs. Many of them would die without humans to care for them, but hardier breeds and populations of strays would be able to maintain breeding populations for an indefinite period of time. Cats would also likely last until the next major extinction event. Instagram bots asking if you think they're pretty. Man, you are lucky, I get bots telling me I'm ugly. I get both. You guys are getting bots? I reckon there's probably some man-made things in space that'll outlive us. Elon Musk's car. In that vein, Voyager I? A rusty trash compactor robot. As long as he has the parts of his dead buddies to harvest. I think they're his coworkers actually. Not that it makes it any better. They're actually all just clones since they are robots. It's a world of Wallies and only the strongest keep going, repairing themselves with parts salvaged from their fallen selves. Some Nokia phone in a dresser. No longer connecting people. Assuming electricity keeps working, the stock market, bots would keep buying and selling stocks of companies which don't exist anymore. That will fall apart faster than you think. Every time any internet node or power station falls down, the entire system will degrade. The majority of the system will be shut down within a month due to power losses. Less than 10 years for the entire thing to collapse. WinRAR and its infinite trial period. Well, no. Once the 30 days are over you have to remove it from your computer, duh. The WinRAR honor system. Spoiler, it doesn't work. School loan debt collectors who will forever ruin your credit score. There is probably a clause in the agreements for student loans that say the debt is still valid even in the event of an apocalypse and collapse of humanity. That way either a future generation of humans or some other species can still collect on the debt. I mean, they are already so hard to get out of unlike other debt that I wouldn't be surprised. Satellites. They run on solar power, and they're programmed to keep themselves up there. Even if no one is using them, I doubt they'll stop for a while. I respectfully disagree. While some satellites do autonomous station keeping, there are many more that don't. Many LEO satellites have to deal with atmospheric drag and must periodically boost their orbits. Even with automated systems, these satellites are destined to eventually run out of fuel and become a streak across the sky. Geosynchronous satellites have to deal with north-south drift over time. In many cases, as a satellite runs low on propellant, more of this drift is tolerated. Eventually this drift will devolve into an eccentric orbit. However, most of these are not autonomous and ground stations are used to accurately compute their drift and then corrections are uploaded and executed. We do have some satellites in frozen orbits where there are few forces to perturb their orbits. They'll be there for a very long time. Lastly, we have the various probes that are hurtling off into space. The Voyager and Pioneer probes will likely outlast humanity. There was a TV series about this, called Life After People. It was entirely speculative, since we are rather still here, but it was interesting. Pretty much all dairy cows would die, all animals in captivity, and all designer dogs would die. Cats could mostly fend for themselves, but many dogs have been bred to the point where they couldn't live without us. Those cute dogs you see on our/awe would all starve to death. Bees would probably prosper. Most organic life forms would be better off. Oddly enough, many of the pests humans detest wouldn't. I've heard that if it wasn't for human heating buildings and homes, roaches for example wouldn't survive winters in norther climes. And we've seen rats and mice go all post-apocalyptic a few weeks after COVID shut down. The internet. There are so many bots that they would just continue. A Discord made of entirely bots responding to bots would be pretty interesting. Someone with more time please do so. In Randall Munroe's book What If? He puts forth the idea that the last light-producing thing created by mankind is going to be that soft blue glow given off by radioactive waste from nuclear plants Link. Although it's not in a place people, or whatever after us, can get to it as it's mostly sealed away in concrete-filled oil drums, what would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.